Yeah, the current rumors for NX of it being um, like a handheld with some kind of base or something that outputs to your TV, I'm totally down with 100%. Um, I'm just worried that Nintendo's not going to be able to do it very well, regardless of what it is. That's the only problem I have. Um, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know about Nintendo. I love their stuff, but I don't know. They make great games. They should just make great games. They don't need to do hardware. Maybe a handheld though. Yeah. No, that's exactly it. I like Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem Fates comes out, and I'm like, I would love a new Fire Emblem so much, but I don't want it on my. I don't want like I'm like looking like this. It hurts my neck. The it never feels exactly comfortable in your hands the same way a controller does. It's just not right. It's just not right for me. I don't know. It's not right. No. I want it on my TV. I don't care if it looks blown up garbage. Like I have a Vita TV, the PlayStation TV that I got for like 20 bucks. And I enjoyed playing a couple Vita games on my TV. Does it look good? Nah. But I like that. I want to play it with a DualShock. I don't want to play it with this garbage controller. That's the thing too. The Wii U actually is a really good system. It's it's got so many good games. Like if you look at how many good games it has versus the other consoles, it's toe to toe for sure. If not more, but that depends on your taste, so it's variable, but it's toe to toe for sure. And the sales for these games, like with Mario Kart 8 selling 5-6 million on a console that's only sold 12 million, is nuts. It's nuts. They have great game sales to no audience. It's very strange. Yeah, well, the problem is, I hope it's not the Dreamcast because that was not very good for Sega or overall. Um, it's very different from the Dreamcast too. I mean, I guess the Dreamcast, yeah, the Wii U did come out first, but it also technically came out last considering how powerful it is, which is, like the previous generation. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It also isn't like the Dreamcast in that they still haven't figured out online Nintendo. It, that's why I'm cautiously optimistic for NX because who knows what the hell they could be doing with that? What does that even mean? How are they putting any of this together? I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I don't own a company. I own plush toys. That's what I own. That's what I can take care of, not a company. But it seems like they've been kind of fumbling around. Maybe they're on the right track now, a little bit, but who knows? Who knows? I'm gonna move this up. Nah, we'll go back to Wind Waker. Either fix the Force or die. It better not be Luke Skywalker. He's not doing too good with all these new stuff, man. They're kind of not doing great. I don't know. It is their last hope. Um, because why would you try again? If you release another console or handheld console hybrid, whatever, and it performs worse than the Wii U, you basically have to stop and go, now we're third party, or now we're putting all our games on PC or PS4 only or whatever. They probably wouldn't do PlayStation because they fucked PlayStation and then PlayStation left and fucked them. So there's probably a little animosity there, just a little. Uh, they might, but making them do Xbox or go with Xbox is weird too. So I don't know, and I think the idea of a handheld home base is better for them since they've had success with the DS and to a lesser extent the 3DS. It's just I don't know. Do I want to play all my Zelda games now as handheld games that I'm playing on my TV? Like that's kind of disappointing. Who knows if the base station adds any power to where it can output at a higher resolution? Who knows? There's too many questions. And I don't trust Nintendo to have the right answers to that question yet. You know, I don't trust them at all. It's unfortunate, but I don't. See, that's the thing. I don't know if they really have the cash anymore. They're not losing money, but you have to understand there's certain games like the Wii U Zelda that have been in development for years and years and years. There's research into the NX. There's research into all this handheld mobile stuff. The war chest is definitely still there, but not as much as it was when the Wii was a phenomenon, you know? And you can't bank on that. Like that doesn't look good to investors, obviously, but that also just doesn't look good to a board of directors of your company to be like, well, if it doesn't work, we have a ton of extra money in the bank. That's not good. What happens if it doesn't work and then we don't have any money in the bank? Like that's not how you make decisions. So it has to be something that they'd feel confident with, that they can make money on, that people will buy. And I don't know if they want to buy it. I mean, the Vita is a very impressive handheld, and regardless of if it had any software support like it should have had, people didn't really want it, and they kind of just didn't care that much after the first year or two with it. And who's to say that Nintendo can keep going with that handheld success, especially when they start breaking into mobile as well. As they start putting their mobile games on the 3DS or you know on the NX, or like what are they going to do? There's a lot of tough decisions going on there, and then they have a lot of just weird things, like the fact that they announced a new Paper Mario game for the Wii U yesterday is weird. That's weird. Why are you doing that? What is happening over there? The fact that they doubled down on Metroid Federation Force, which is just a mess, is weird. Is so weird. They are making very strange decisions, and some of them are really good decisions, and some of them are really bad. And it reminds me of the stupid shit Sony did with the PlayStation, where it was like, oh, the PS3, get a second job. Oh, it's $599 US, just whatever. Like don't say shit like that. Like, why are you, what? Oh my god. Getting in the mobile market is a good move. I do agree 100%. Mobile games are garbage. I don't play any mobile games. Recently, I started playing Neko Atsume because I can play it in 5 seconds and cats are cute. But like, that's more of just a thing I do for 2 minutes out of the day. That's not really an exciting game. I've never played any mobile game that captured me in the same way. Even when they port these mobile games to a console, it just doesn't feel right. They feel like flash games. They feel cheap and not just, and well, even beyond that, it's the controls. It's the shitty controls with these mobile games of like, oh, it's a virtual D-pad. Oh, well, I'll virtually play this game never then. You know, like it's not a good system to play games with. A virtual button is not the same. I have never had a controller and been like, oh, I pressed A, but the game didn't read it. Oh, it didn't read it correctly. Like, but with like a touchpad, even on a laptop or on a touchscreen, I'm like tapping. Like, oh, I didn't tap there. I tapped there. No, I didn't tap. But I tapped that. You know, it's like this weird disconnect between me as the user and the game, which with a controller does not happen. You know, I'm not playing Dark Souls and being like, oh, I attacked there. Like, no, I know what I did. I pressed the button or I didn't press the button. I'm not at the will of this weird touch panel that doesn't work. If it worked, sure. It doesn't work. And it hardly ever works for me. Plus, Angry Birds is garbage. Just to bring that up, Angry Birds is such a terrible game. It's not even good as a flash game. It's a terrible game. It's not fun. Screw you, birds. Also, they're making the Angry Birds movie. They're not coming out in a couple months. What the fuck's going on? Am I a time traveler? What is happening? Ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's nice of them. You know, it's nice of them to put Zelda Wii U out in the first place. But yeah, I bet a lot of them will come to, you know, like Smash and Mario Kart maybe even will come to the NX. But the thing is with with the NX, if it's a handheld that can also be a home console, is it just as powerful as the Wii U? Is it more powerful? I kind of don't. There was a rumor coming that last week that it was as powerful as an Xbox One. I don't buy that at all. I don't think technology is there for them to make an actual device, a handheld device that could do that. Now, maybe it's as powerful as an Xbox One when you go home and plug it into another thing and it outputs to your TV. Then maybe. And then I'll be interested in these ports. Because that's what worries me. I want to play Zelda Wii U on whatever's going to look best or play best. Or, like I want to play the best version of it. I don't want to play the shitty version. And that's probably going to be the NX version. But is it? If it's a handheld only game and it's a step back, I think they shoot themselves in the foot. This thing has to be at least on par with the Wii U in terms of power, performance. Otherwise, it's a waste. Otherwise, why would I buy it, especially if you're porting all the other games from Wii U to it? So it has to function for both audiences of dumb idiots like me who have it and love it, and everyone else in the world. And that's a tough thing to ask. And I think that's maybe their strategy more with mobile is put these games on mobile, put something on mobile, because a Pokemon game on mobile is going to just go crazy. And it only took them 60 years. There were some weird things with that rumor, too, with like the 900p thing. It was like weirdly specific. That's why I don't buy that rumor. Nintendo's pretty good at keeping secret. I would assume graphically because, processing is effectively going to be the same. Well, okay, well, so coming as a PC guy, you can have the best processor. It doesn't really matter. Especially nowadays, games are developed for the GPU. I guess if this was your own console and your controlled environment, you could make it CPU dependent. The rumor also says that it's extremely easy to port games to, which tells me that it is similar to a PC where a lot of the rendering is done on the GPU. It doesn't matter, what does the Xbox One have? 8 gigs of RAM? That's fine. That's not a high number. You can get 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM for like 20, 25 bucks. It doesn't matter. It's cheap. In terms of what they're saying, I think what they're saying is it's in terms of the power of the Xbox One, but this is some stupid ass rumor. What kind of metric is that? That doesn't even make sense. That's not even that's like saying your car is as fast as a Porsche. But that doesn't mean anything. That actually makes more sense than saying it's like an Xbox One, because it's also dependent on the game and what the game is doing. So it's such a nebulous thing. If it means it has the same specs, that's interesting. That's interesting. And if you can make that handheld, even if the handheld, I don't know, it would have to play to the lower resolution or something. There's a lot of weird questions here. Particularly because maybe they could do it because computer hardware has already gotten so far ahead of the PS4 and Xbox One that you can get a GPU, you can get like a 780, right, which is almost 3 years old, and it's like the top tier that came out that year from NVIDIA, and that's better than the Xbox One. That's better than a PS4. So, and that's years old. So technically, there's a lot of chips that are better now. It's just they've never been that company. They've never been that company to be, here's our big hardware. Like the GameCube was arguably comparable to the Xbox, but that was more or less just a thing they did. It wasn't them trying to do something on purpose. Like this is, our big graphical thing. I'm losing my voice. That's awesome. Bleh. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die in water. Can't talk anymore. I don't know. I'm so cautiously optimistic. It's more just caustic. cautious, not even optimistic about the NX. Yeah, you could be right on that. You could be right on that. The hard drive definitely is a shitty thing they did. I have an external one on mine now. It's the only console I have that has an external hard drive. It's my Wii U. It's so stupid. Uh, because you need it, especially since I have the basic one because I was cheap. Everything in my life it can be traced back to I was cheap and I should have done something more. But I don't know. I don't know if that killed third-party interest. I think maybe sales did. Maybe the prospect of the PS4 and the Xbox One coming and this not being powerful. They ported all this garbage on there. I don't know. I'm trying to imagine a world in which the Wii U was super successful, and I feel like it's a world there where the iPad doesn't exist, or where like the PS4 and the Xbox One didn't sell very well. You know what I mean? Like if the PS4 and the Xbox One had sold half as much as they've sold, maybe the Wii U, it wouldn't obviously look as much as a failure, and it would have more support. Maybe if the Wii U was a little more powerful, maybe the PS4 and Xbox One weren't as powerful. It became, for a split second, Nintendo was there and was like, hey, you can port stuff over. We're right here with them. We're actually a little better. And then a year later goes by and it's like, well, now Nintendo, you're way the hell over here. And it didn't sell well and there's no money in it. There's absolutely no money. And you see that with Ubisoft and Rayman, which is probably not even that big of a seller anyway. It was an exclusive game, and then no, now it's not exclusive. Now it's for everything, and it got delayed on Wii U just so they can put it out. And it's weird. It's weird shit like that. Like Ubisoft also put out Watch Dogs on Wii U 6 months later. Who is this for? Who the hell is like? It's so weird too. Who is this for? And even when I was like I'm a big GameCube guy, I never bought third-party games. I only had a GameCube, but I pretty much only bought Nintendo games. There were, here and there titles like Time Splitters or something I bought on there, or the Hulk game was actually really good. They went on to make Prototype. And it's just, they've never had it. They've been losing it for years, and now they have none of it. Like, they straight up have no third-party support. And it's just weird. Obviously, the companies are only there for money. That's why they swarmed to the Wii. They have to make it something that's comparable with the current system, and make it easy to port to if you want these things. Because if it's so easy to port that it only costs a company like $10,000 and they're going to make that money back, then sure, they'll do it. And then as soon as you start getting more support, it's like a slow thing. But I don't know if they can do it. I'm not a business person. I don't know what the hell is going on. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I don't know if they can do it. They've shown zero wherewithal or ability to be able to do that. I do like the Wii U concept. That's very true. But I mean, the PS4, sure, it's a shinier. But I mean, as someone who a year or so before, like 2 years before the PS4 came out, I built a gaming PC, and at that point, I was able to play games like they would look on next gen, and you really start to realize, like, holy shit. We've been held back by these consoles. We've been held so far back by them. And now you get finally with the PS4 and like, oh, this is great. But then you can still play games better on PC. And I understand that's like a stupid argument. You should just play the games. But it is just a PS3 with shinier graphics. The shinier graphics are great. They're great. But where are the games? Like, quite honestly, I'm not excited for Uncharted. And Bloodborne's the only PS4 game I was like super into, and that's why I bought it. I bought one Xbox One game last year, and I'm only looking forward to one this year, which is Crackdown 3. And then the one where you're fighting with a dragon, that got delayed to the next year. But there's like 3 games I want on that system, and then on the PS4, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you a PS4 game that's coming out this year I want. That's not on PC. Or on another system or something. Like, I don't know. They're selling like hotcakes, but I don't really understand. why, and it's good for them, I guess, but I don't understand why, and it's weird to me. It's weird to me, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with PlayStation VR too, which I think is probably not going to do that great. I'm not very excited for VR at all. I think it's kind of stupid. I've never used it, but I think it's very fucking stupid. But I could be wrong. I do want to try it. I'm very excited to see what kind of numbers they do and what kind of numbers the games do, because they're not showing anything interesting with it. Interesting. I'm not a PlayStation guy. My first PlayStation was PS3. So yeah, that's late to the party. It's I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of it's not a simple thing. You know, the no issue is black and white. There's a lot of things going on both sides. No, on any issue, one side isn't right 100%. One side isn't wrong 100% either. It's like it's so nebulous, especially with business decisions. Is I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, I do want to talk about that. Only interested in VR for the porn. Quite honestly, that is the only interesting thing. Everything else is literally, I can look around right now. I don't want to. I don't want to play the next Legend of Zelda and I have to look around. I don't want to do that. I don't want a screen 2 inches from my eyes, right? Do you want that? Do you want a screen 2 inches from your eyes? Does that sound healthy to you? I don't think so. Maybe even if it is, that sounds weird. Do I want to wear a helmet when I'm playing games exclusively? It doesn't. I don't get it. There's nothing shown that doesn't like that zombie Crazy Taxi game. If you're excited for that game, you're a psychopath. That is a game you show someone for 30 minutes and never play again. There are so many bullshit tech demos with VR that it's so frustrating. Show me an actual game I can play, even if it's a 6-hour game. Show me any fucking game that I can do with that. It's, oh, here's a drift. And I'm like, I can play that on PC. I don't need to look around like that. I'm not one of those guys who's on Twitter while I'm playing a game and I'm constantly distracted. I can focus. I don't need a fucking helmet on my head to tell me I need to focus. Okay? And I certainly don't want to upgrade my PC for a bunch of minigame bullshit garbage. Okay? The only game, actually, No Man's Sky would be very cool in VR. That would be cool. But it doesn't add anything. There is nothing new with that. You are just looking around. Is that it? That sounds so tiring and stupid, and it's such a big gimmick. Oh, I had that in my thing earlier. The DayZ creator said that the VR looks like the Wii, like looks like the motions for Wii, or something like that. He basically compared VR to the motion controls for Wii, and I'm like, yes, that sounds right. That sounds right. Yes. I'll get back to porn too, because the porn thing is interesting and is arguably, or even not even porn, like even if you want to be like, not talk about porn, just having an interesting experience where you're in a room and you're like watching a play or a cutscene or something. Like I could totally see that where if you're playing, let's see, maybe like a BioShock, and oh, the cutscene started, so you put on the VR helmet and then you can look around and you're part of the cutscene and you can move around and look at it as it's happening. And that could be really cool. Like for action games, an action moment that you're not playing, that could be cool. Or for something where you could just play Fallout 4, you put it on and you're just wandering around the world and it's optional. That's what it has to be. It has to be like a thing for every game that's optional. Assassin's Creed, put it on and now all the enemies disappear and you can just wander around ancient Rome. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. Have they said anything like that? No. But that's what I think is cool about VR, the experiences you can do. Not for games. These weird experiences. The implications it has for like doctors in the medical field and stuff like that. That's interesting. This other stuff? No. Why? What? And that is the thing. The price. How much is PlayStation VR going to be? Because what? Oculus is $600. The Vive or whatever is $800. This thing has got to be at least $300. At least. It's got an external little power unit. It's going to be at least $300. Even if it was $300, exactly what you're saying, what kind of support is it going to get? This is a company that already showed they cannot support stuff like that, like with the Move. Now, granted, they're more excited about this than with the Move, but what? They had the whole 30 minutes with the PlayStation experience with VR, and it was Crazy Taxi, bullshit. It was a game where you fly around as a bird, which could be cool, but also kind of bullshit. The game that does have a VR mode that is the robots playing mini golf, which is cool, but I'm not gonna buy a $300 headset for it. I mean, come on. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I said too. This isn't for games. This is at least not yet. At least not yet. It's not for games. This is something, and I'm so exhausted with VR too because it's been like 6 years. It feels like. When did Oculus start happening? Like the Kickstarter was 3 years ago or something. It's been going on for so long, and it just doesn't seem to end, and it doesn't seem to have anything interesting going on either. Everything's a tech demo. Everything's a game I can already play, which maybe is the point. Maybe that's contradictory, right? If every game had something that you could do with VR, that would help you buy a VR headset. But if it's just stuff you can kind of do already, why would you need it? And maybe it is just I need to try it. Maybe it is. That's what everyone says. That's what everyone says. Oh, you have to try it. You have to try it. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't need to try the Wii to understand, like, oh, that's kind of cool. You can play tennis. Like, that's kind of cool. I didn't need to play it to understand how that works. And I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Not to circle around the same point 6 times. I don't buy it at all. I don't buy it 100%. This is not going to work right. And the blind faith and the things I keep seeing about it that are people so excited, I don't understand where that's coming from. Like, and that's me. Like, I'm the guy who I want to play a turn-based JRPG that's just grindy and it's just mindless. I'm totally cool playing that. So I don't necessarily want new improvements. I'll play that stupid JRPG for hours. I don't care. But I also like games like The Witness, you know, and I like how Jonathan Blow came out and was like, we can't really do this game in The Witness. It doesn't work. Like, great. Not everything works. Even a game that looks like it would work. It's stupid VR. It's weird. But the Oculus is $600, or the pre-order was, right? It's $600, and you need a gaming PC. Is the box with Sony's VR a processor, or is it just an output box? Because you're right. If it is a processor, oh, it's going to be more expensive. But if it isn't, it's not going to be as expensive because it looks like it could just be like an HDMI splitter kind of thing. I don't buy it. No, VR is gonna. But see, that's the thing. I don't want it to fail, but I feel like they're really jumping the gun with this. This is way too gung ho for something that no one, like, is anyone interested in this? Who's interested in this besides the hardcore people? It's not even something like oh my god. Yeah, it's $600. Let me pull it up. Let's go get off my Google Doc. Oh, look at PlayStation doing Google ads for the Oculus. Yes, pre-order for $600. You know what it comes with? A controller, an Xbox One controller, and Eve Valkyrie, which is fine, whatever. But man, for $600, and I have to have a really good PC already? That's crazy. So PlayStation VR, is it going to be $300 and be shit? Because that's going to be bad for everyone. That's not going to be good for anyone at all. Other VR companies are going to be fucked over if the PlayStation VR is underpowered and not very good. It's going to screw up everything. Ridiculous. Which did you pre-order? I don't know, Popular Science. How about none of them? Oh man, this is... Okay, HTC sold 1,000 Vive headsets per minute when pre-orders opened. God. What are these people? What do you expect to do with it? You're not gonna be able to do anything. Oh my god. I don't understand people. I don't understand people. Ridiculous. I don't need porn for $600. Like, I can get the gist of it all without the 3D I'm there. I can understand. Alright, it's been fun hanging out. I'm losing my voice slowly for some reason because I apparently, I don't know, talked too much today. So I'm gonna kind of call it there unless you have anything else to ask or say about VR being bullshit. This is a show I do. I'll chat with the comments forever long until I can't talk anymore. Show I do every Friday at 3 p.m. right here, 3 p.m. Pacific time, which daylight savings time is coming up. Watch out. Watch out. A couple weeks away. And that's it. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Nice talking to you. It was fun talking about Zelda and how stupid PlayStation VR is. God. There's so much Kool-Aid there. The Kool-Aid man is dead. So much Kool-Aid has been drunk with VR. The Kool-Aid man is beyond buried. He's just a broken glass on the ground. Ridiculous. Definitely catch the beginning where it's a fun news jokey thing that's probably really awkward. Alright. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I already said that. Oh well.